Right.
or you have discharged her. I mean, take a read of this. I'm trying to do it right now.
Oh, you can send it to me right now.
I'm going to do it right now. Okay. It's taking too long to load.
All I know is that constitutional challenge had to be that, the motion, all the questions I asked and put it in writing. It just they had to know they was dealing with a debacle.
Well, they're now dealing with the truth, and they cannot have truth in court. The truth cannot be tried in court. Now, I'm going to send it to Gmail or Yahoo.
Gmail, Yahoo, it don't matter. I can get both.
Too late.
Okay.
It's on Gmail.
Okay. I'm going in there now. I didn't get it yet. Did you send it?
I'm trying.
Oh, okay.
I'm slow tonight. Give me a break. I've been working 12, 14 hours a day for the last few weeks. And
you tired, huh?
I'm getting there. My pecker's dragging the ground, man.
Well, you've been out the house working.
Yeah, and I'm 6 foot tall, so that's a long drag.
You so funny, Brian.
I was in a restroom the other day, and the only one that was open was the little one. You know, the lower one.
Right.
So I said, "Whoa, damn, this thing's cold." I was peeing.
Yeah.
And everybody looked at me.
It's like,
yeah, this thing's cold. They should warm these urinals up, man.
And the people just thought you were crazy.
Yes, they did. Okay, you know, I'm going to start something here shortly, right? This donation.
Right.
I've been trying to get a way to do the tracking genealogy.
Right.
And I've gotten prices from $15,000 to start it plus cost to do it. To do basically all I want is you guys would enjoy, you fall into place, right? And you'll be able to see who you're donating to. And then the first one's 25, and it's just 4 people that donate to you, $100 coming back to you. You keep 25 and donate to 75. So you got your money back. You can't lose anything now. And when I do make up the website and show it, I'm telling them, I said, look, if you if you think you cannot do this, then don't waste your time and our time.
Meaning refer to people?
The donations like this. I'm just putting it all right up front for everybody. I sent the letter to somebody else, and they wrote me back. It says, I think you create a checkmate. They don't want this to be entered into court. This will be interesting. And this person is a JD.
Mm-hmm.
You know what a JD is?
Yeah, a lawyer. A liar.
Yeah.
He's a liar.
Oh, that's cheap.
Oh, was this the one that was gonna help you write up the motions and everything?
Well, that was a funny thing. They had a meeting yesterday, right? So I was going to go to it. And when I went there, they didn't have where I could enter the neighborhood. You know, they have a list, right?
Right.
And I wasn't on the list.
Oh.
And then I got on Zoom and he knocked me off. So then I went to him to start chatting with him. He says, well, we're vetting you. I said, holy shit. I am so thrilled that somebody thinks I could be a threat. And then I said, I said, what secrets do you have that I can steal? And he wrote back, well, we have no secret. Then I said, well, then what's the problem? And the main guy who talks all the time, like he was talking law the other day. And I'm saying, why do you even want to gavel that garbage? It's theirs, not yours. And I showed him, I said, look, here's the Constitution of Florida. And I showed it to the lawyer that's in this class. I said, look at this here. She read it. I said, look at the statute. She read it. I said, what does this do to their jurisdiction? She says, well, I can't think of the word right now. Destroys their jurisdiction. I said, and what else do you need to know? Nothing. They tell us the truth. We just have to find it. It's all about jurisdiction. And the Constitution. I figured you get it.
Yeah.
Okay. I just got to modify the bottom, and I'm going to send that out tomorrow. So the thing is what it is his ego, because what he's saying, most of it's wrong. We should not be going in and trying to fight them toe to toe. It's their court. It's their ship. He's a captain. He's law. Period. He can do what he wants. Unless you bind them to their oath of office, to the Constitution of the United States, and you bring their asses back to land. Article 6 of the Constitution. You say, hey, Judge, did you take your oath of Article 6 of the Constitution of the United States? You did. Well, I really thank you. And I thank you for being a public servant. And I accept and bind you to your oath of office.
Well, Brian, all of that is in the letter that I gave you that the young man just appeared out of nowhere after hearing me talk in the clubhouse. And he said, I was advised by an older white man that when I heard a specific person speak about this, that I was to give this document to you. And I gave that to you, the 5-page motion of determination that lays this whole scam out about the money. I sent it to you. It goes into how the different colonies had different rates of return, and they were expected that if you came from Georgia to South Carolina, that they would be at a loss if the currency was different. So it lays all that out, all the laws. It tells a story, and it basically say, until you can tell me what is the lawful, determination of money according to the Constitution, then basically ain't no conversation. That's the first page, and then the second, the 2 through 5 lays out the whole story in a history form.
I haven't seen that.
I gave that to you. It's called Motion of Determination. You want me to resend it?
Yeah, because I get so much stuff. See, sometimes it gets lost.
I know, I get it. No problem.
The only thing I'm thinking is, remember, I always think for the poor man. Me. Meaning is, I'm trying to do this for the guy who works at McDonald's.
Right.
Okay, so I think of the most easiest way to be able to do this, and he can understand this letter and understand what the Constitution says and defend it. Now, there is one thing that you did say before, that you found out how to get bonds.
That was under the, if I'm not, well, is it the bonds? Well, what I did was I traced FARA, and then it went to the Department of Justice, where it said that we can file criminal charges of investigation through FARA. And I know I want to call a thinking partner like you that's in Georgia, and we've been going on the Clubhouse, and we feel like we got so much information. So we've been going through all of our information. She calls it the I guess it's called hazard bond. So she's aware of that too. So yes, there's some kind of way that we can call on their bonds, or at least put the thread out there to let them know that we know. And if you wanted to be real sexy with it, Brian, I mean, really, because I know you're that kind of guy, you could send them a McDonald's application to let them know that if I put a lien on your bond, or even a complaint, that now you can't work.
Here's what it is. It's a bond or hazardous insurance.
Right.
One the other. Now, the thing is, there was a guy out in Colorado got a ticket for not having his driver's license. The sheriff arrested him, put him in jail. He spent 19 days in jail and moved around to 4 different counties. When he got out, he went after every one of their bonds. That's 4 counties, all sheriffs. From the sheriff down to the guy pushing the broom, right? All of them. And he went to court. 10 months later, he got a judgment of $32 billion. And you know how many policemen showed up in court? 0. Why? Because he wasn't suing the police officer. He was suing the bonding company, and the bonding company just goes in and looks to see what they've done, and there's a dollar value on everything. Think of it this way: 19 days he was incarcerated, 19 days he was kidnapped, false incarceration, times how many officers in a county on the average?
I need to know more about this. False, what did you say? Imprisonment.
The kidnapping was like $250,000. Like here in Naples, right? It's not a great big county or whatever. The sheriff department has, I think, almost 800 or something. So just imagine you went to Miami, where they got a few thousand. That everyone, you would go after their bonds. Because you understand that policemen are responsible for each other's action to make sure they're not doing anything unlawful or illegal.
Right. It's to it really was to ensure the lie, Brian.
Or yes, protect the lie. Right. So the thing is it's, you know, I watch these videos about the cops, they pull people over and all this other stuff, right?
Right.
The first thing especially the reporters, when they go out there and they come over and say, you know, what are you doing? So, well, obviously I'm filming. You know, I thought you guys were detectives. You can't see I got a camera here filming. And it gets really nasty with the cops because, number one, the policemen have no right to talk to you unless they see a crime. And a crime is a victim. Not suspect. See. Okay? Because he can say, well, I expected him to go home and shoot his wife. That works real well, doesn't it? It has to actually physically see a crime in progress before he can even interact with you. So when these guys come up, the first thing that these dumbasses don't do is say, hey, man, because the cops ask us, hey, well, I need ID. They should say, do you understand that you just committed perjury against your oath of office? You are a felon. You have no right to be in that uniform. Because to ask for your documentation without a warrant is against the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
That's the one where your persons and your packages or your papers are private.
Your person and papers.
Yeah.
Unless there's a warrant. So the first thing they should do is say, hey, man, I'm taking pictures. He said, I want to see some ID. Well, you understand that, and you put this on YouTube, right? And he said, you understand you just committed a felony. Here's what we read. It said, Article 5 of the Constitution, the one you took an oath to swore an oath to, states that you can't answer shit unless you got a warrant. Do you have a warrant? You don't have a warrant. You just violated your oath of office. That's perjury. That's a felony. You are no longer allowed to be in that monkey suit you're wearing. Because he's not in good standing, is he?
Nope.
See, that's what these guys should be doing. And then one cop says, well, what do you think about defunding the police? I said, I'm all for it. He goes, what do you mean? He says, I said, well, you're nothing but reactive. You don't do anything to prevent anything. The only thing that you do, you hide behind a corner over here, and when somebody drives by fast, you go out and give them a ticket. Well, that's called ambush. And then it's theft. Because there's no crime.
Wow. And it's funny too, the other day, Brian, and I just, because I'm a rebel and I like being bad because it feels good. So they locked me in my complex. Some house had a fire leak. And I live in the back in the dead end. You can't get out. And the police just blocked the street, maybe 10 houses in front of my house or so. And I'm like, I came back home and I called 911. I said, listen, I'm being held against my will. Man, we'll have someone call you right away. Well, ultimately, they called back and said the streets are open. But my whole thing was, if there's a fire or a potential fire leak, why would you not tell you got these police blocking the street? They should have at least knocked on the doors to let the people know and who's in their homes that we got a potential danger in the neighborhood. And then you won't even let us out. And he said, oh, you have to talk to the fire department about that. Nobody wants to take responsibility for nothing, huh?
Let me call you right back.
Okay, no problem. Bye.